All right, Joshua Smith here again, and now we're talking about the REVISTO Yearly Agent Business Plan. Now, if you're jumping ahead and you just jumped in this and you didn't watch the above videos in this section, don't complete this. Unless you've already done this stuff, at some point, and this is just a refresher and you grab a new business plan for the next year and you're updating this. But make sure that you watch those above videos, right? You want to, those will allow you to get clarity for what your business plan is going to look like and be. So very important. Okay, so then here on this business plan, now understand I am not a big fan of your typical business plans. I don't think that they are worth the paper that they're written on. I'm a fan of tactical, strategic plans that are in place that show you the exact amount of effort that you must be doing to create the results that you want to create. And that's what this is. This is about identifying the amount of action you need to be inputting on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis in your real estate business to go out there and turn your goals into a reality. Right? And hopefully after doing the last documents, you guys, that you got clarity on, again, some of the things that you want, what you want to create for your life. And make sure as you're doing this, I didn't mention this before, but it's really important to mention this. Your goals need to be your own, right? Your goals can't be somebody else's goals. I meet so many people that all of their goals have been attached to another person, right? A good friend of mine who is in his mid-50s, we started working out together, worked out together for some time. And one day when we were working out together, he just stopped me. He's like, man, I got to thank you, spending this time with you and just talking with you. He goes, man, I'm in my mid-50s. He's like, dude, I got kids that are your age, Josh. And up until this moment in my life, and again, after spending time with you, I never had this realization before. He goes, but I realize now that I've never had my own goals for my life, right? So then he shares with me this story about his father. His father was an extremely successful, high-powered attorney, and his father died when he was, when he was young. When he was in, I don't know if it was grade school or junior high or whatever. Even as he got older, even on a subconscious level, all of his goals were based around, if my father was alive today, would he be proud of me? And until, I started just having casual conversations, not as in-depth as I went with you guys, he came up with the realization of, shit, man, I've never really thought about what is important to me. What do I want? Right? Who cares about what other people's goals are for you? And I get why this is such a problem for most people, right? I see this with my own kids right now, right? It's like what we do, my kids. You look at my 4-year-old, right, who will be 5 in March, so he's like in pre-K, being kindergarten next year. We have him in pre-K with the school, right? But dude, he exists to please his mom. Mom and dad, but he's a mama's boy, man. If mama, my wife, this is one of those kids that never even has to be spanked. If my wife is somewhat angry with him, man, he starts bawling his eyes out. He does not want to disappoint his mother. So his whole household time, right, or family time is about pleasing his mom. That's how we are as kids, right? It's about pleasing our parents and living up to our parents' expectations and making our parents happy. Then we go to school, and it's all about pleasing our teachers. Then you're in sports, it's about pleasing your teacher, right? So we get to the point, and then, then this ends, and our whole entire 18 years of our existence, we have been conditioned and taught to only please other people. Then it's like, okay, go figure out what you would do with the rest of your life. Good luck. Right? We're never taught how to go out there and take what we've learned and why those things were important to go out there and now identify the life that we wanted. These things that I'm teaching you guys here, and I wish to God were taught in high school. Right? And luckily I've been blessed to have the experience and the opportunities, especially more in recent years, to go out there and speak to a lot of high school graduates. That are in their senior year about these items to inspire them to go out there and create their own life and not live somebody else's life. So like I told you guys earlier, right? When we were doing the GSD mode document, I don't exist to be just to please my wife and please my kids, right? That's part of it. Like I want to be an epic husband, an epic father. That's part of it. But I also exist because I got my own damn goals for my life. My goals are my own. My goals are not my parents'. My goals are not, somebody else's. They're not society's. I have my goals that matter to me and only me that I want to go out there and create success with. Your goals need to be your own, right? Your goals, when I'm talking about them being your own, look, at the end of the day, myself or nobody else should define your goals for you. Who the hell am I or anybody else to tell you what success means for your life? Maybe you're watching this and you join REVISTO and you're like, hey, man, if I can be making, netting $75,000 a year, maybe your spouse makes some money, and that would be a game changer for you and your family, and that's your goals. Awesome. Right? Maybe you're on here and you're like, dude, Josh, I want to make millions. Right? I want to go out there and make millions. Okay, that's awesome too. There's no right or wrong. It's what's right for you. Who the hell am I to tell you what your goals are? I'm not here to tell you what your goals are. Right? REVISTO is not here to tell you what your goals are. We are here to support you in making sure that your goals become a reality. Period. So make sure that your goals are your own. All right. So then here on this business plan, right? So what does success in real estate mean for you and your family? Maybe you don't have a family. Again, I know we have a lot of young teammates, a lot of young hustlers that join the team. They're like, yeah, I'm married, I got kids. Like, what do you mean? What does it mean for me and my family? Well, what does it mean for you personally? If you want to have a future family, what does that look like? Right? If you don't, and you don't want to get married or you don't want to have a family, like, what does it mean for you? Right? What type of an impact do you want to have? Do you want to go out there and create an epic life and do all this stuff right? Whether it's material things you want to go out there and buy or just a lifestyle that you want to create. Do you want to be able to give back, have impacts? Look at the podcast. The podcast costs me $100,000 a year to go out there and operate. I don't make any money on the podcast, right? But it changes lives. We have millions of downloads every single year, and get flooded. All those emails that you saw in that email, I get flooded with daily emails of how it changes so many people's lives. I'll help them through tough times, help them through depression, help them through, whatever. I don't get paid to speak, right? I'm not, Grant Cardone that gets paid $50,000 to go step on stage for 60 minutes. I just don't. The reality is, at the time of me creating this video, and I'm working on changing this, but I don't have a big enough name yet. Right? So I don't get paid to speak. And a lot of times when I speak, guess what? I'm having to buy my own plane ticket, and my own hotel room, paying my own way to go speak for free. Last year, I spent over $40,000 speaking for free to real estate agents all over the planet. I should say all over the planet, all over the United States, and a couple little gigs in Canada, or I shouldn't say little, they're big gigs, but nationally, internationally, on my own dime, taking time away from my business, from my family, and not just time, it's costing me $40,000. Right? I'd love to be in the position to be able to do that. Even if I never got paid, I'd continue doing that because the impact that it has. I want to go out there, and create a successful life for myself and know that I'm also making a difference in other people's lives. So what does on a grand scale of a grand scale of your life, like what does success in real estate mean for you and your family? What is the amount of income that you need to create to make that success for you and your family? Like how much money do you need to make in the next 12 months? Whatever your business outcome was on your GSD model, what is that number? And again, hopefully you have something attached to that number. So at one point in my life, I was a personal trainer, right? In the health and fitness industry, and that's the industry I always thought I'd be involved in. It just kind of happened on accident. I got into real estate. Never thought or fathomed that I would, be a full-time career-long real estate agent, right? I'm glad and blessed I did, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But I just, right? It just happened. Anyway, when I was a personal trainer, those of my clients that had the biggest success, that actually accomplished their goals and sustained their goals and stuck with it, were those that were clear on why their goals mattered to them. It was the client that would come in that say, hey, my father died prematurely of a heart attack because he didn't take care of himself, and I just had my first grandkid, and it scares the hell out of me. right? I want to live as long, most optimal, healthy, long life that I possibly can, and I don't want to just live. Right? I don't want to be the grandparent that's just watching my grandson from the sidelines. Like I want to be, or my grandkid, right? Like I want to be out there running with them, playing with them, active with them. Like I need to go out there and take this stuff seriously. Then compared to if I had somebody that's like, I don't know, I just want to lose a couple extra pounds and get better, a little bit better shape, look better for bikini season, right? Man, it's kind of a coin toss in the air. But those that attached a reason for their success, for their outcome of why they wanted to stick with it, had success and almost every single time, right? I can't say every single one of them, but the vast majority that got really deep and were committed to this. I'm here to tell you guys right now, building your real estate career is going to be one of the hardest things you've ever had to do in your life, right? Recently on my podcast, I had a very successful online entrepreneur now. But he was a professional skier previously. And this dude skied professionally and skied on the U.S. team inside the Olympics. Imagine how hard that is, right? To go out there and do what he did. And he's like, dude, the hardest thing in my life ever has been creating success in business. He's like, skiing was a breeze compared to business. And that's what's so amazing about this. That's what's so fulfilling about this. I don't want that to scare you. If you follow what's laid out, if you follow this plan, right, this isn't theory. These are things that we've been executing on now for 12 plus years. I personally have sold over 5,000 homes here in the Phoenix metropolitan area. I've got this stuff down to a freaking science. You tell me exactly how much real estate you want to close. I'll tell you exactly what you need to do from the second you wake up to the second you go to bed to be able to make that a reality. What's difficult about it is executing on that. That's why these things are so important and the mindset is so important. The difficult thing is leading ourselves to do the shit we need to do every single day. It's not difficult to know what you do when you get inside the gym to work out and exercise, right? What's difficult is getting your ass in the door, right? So attach that and put that number there. Now, this is just forcing you to go through your GSD mode model for your business, right? Again, what is the outcome that, the amount of money that you want? What is the outcome that I want? So these can mirror that and match that. Or, right? Like if you're up here, this doesn't have to be yearly. This could be, hey, what's the amount of income that I must create for me to feel successful and create success for my family? Maybe that's $500,000 a year. So this number up here could show 500,000, and it should. I'm not saying that you have to go out there and want to make 500,000. Whatever it is for you, go out there and create that. Most people are like 100 grand. Everybody says they want to make 100 grand. I used to say I wanted to make 100 grand. Till I made 100 grand, I was like, shit, I still feel broke. Making 100 grand isn't money anymore, right? Now again, I don't want to judge your situation. You might be in a different situation where that is a lot of money to you. But for like me in the situation I'm in with my wife is a stay-at-home mom and 3 kids, I couldn't 100 grand does not provide us a good life. I didn't start feeling like I had money until I was making $30,000 a month. At $30,000 a month, dude, I wasn't living extravagantly, but it allowed me to provide the opportunities I want to do for my family, us to go out there and enjoy some, things to do and vacations and whatever, and as well as invest and save, and then to also pay the IRS, right? So this figure here is like, how much money do you need to be making on a yearly basis to go out there and create that ultimate success that you want to create? Then here, what is my one outcome for this year, right? So up here, this might see 500. Maybe you're a first-year real estate agent, so you put 50 grand. Maybe you put 100 grand here. There's no reason. Don't set a limiting belief for yourself, right? You will help people in this business that will sit there and say, oh, dude, you 200 grand your first year in real estate, you can't do that. Yeah, you can. I made $280,000 my first year in real estate at 23 years old, college dropout, young punk kid, zero experience in real estate. At that time, I just bought my first house, right? Like I had very little overall life or real estate experience. Now, I also, at that time, is a different time in my life, but I wasn't married and didn't have kids yet. I worked 4 a.m. to midnight, right? I did not take a day off that whole entire year. I grinded my ass off. I worked hard. Maybe that's not the life you want to live, but that's what I, so what I'm saying here is, if you, whatever this figure is, dude. Now, if you came to me and said, hey, Josh, I want to make $1 million and it's my first year in real estate, I might be like, all right, dude, like, I'm I've never, not that I don't want to put a limit belief to say it can't be done. I've never met anybody that's done it. I've met tons of people that have made 100 grand, 200 grand the first year. Never met a residential real estate agent that's made $1 million the first year out of the gate. You know, but don't be afraid to put some big goals here, because it can be a reality, right? And I'll show you the path and the roadmap to make that happen. But what is that outcome? What is the amount of money that you want to be making? Again, listing the obstacles and problems in the way. And if you're new, it's just maybe like, dude, I just don't know what to do. Like, here's what I want to go out there and create. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I just need to know what it takes. Okay, cool. You know, right? If we know that, now if you put on here, I want to make 200 grand my first year of real estate, and then you're like, hey, Josh, I could only work 30 hours a week. I'd be like, dude, the math doesn't add up. Right? If you want to make 30, if you only work 30 hours a week, then adjust this to, you know, 50 grand. Like, you ain't going to make 200 grand your first year in real estate working 30 hours a week. You can make 200 grand your first year in real estate if you're willing to work 80 to 100 hours a week. And if you're willing to put in your 16-hour days, cool. You can hit it. Absolutely. So we got to, you know, somewhat deal in realities with this stuff too. Must do action steps to eliminate those problems and obstacles, all those things. So this is really just forcing you to repeat your GSD mode model that you've already went through. And if you're like, well, what is this, Josh? I'm fast forwarding here. Sorry, I'm not going to tell you. You got to go through and watch that video, because I'm not serving you or supporting you in any way by you not watching the above videos first. Then understand, massive action equals massive results, right? Takes hard work. Like, nothing's easy, man. Success is not easy. If this was easy, everybody would be doing it. And very few people are willing to put in the work, and that's why I love it, right? Like, as I said earlier in the training, I've already said at least once to you guys, once you're fully committed in this industry, dude, it's like fishing with dynamite, right? But at this point in my life, you know, right, in every element of my real estate business as I, you know, have created success, I've always put in the work. Right? I've always put in the hustle. I get everybody's situation is different. Maybe you can't put in those hours. Maybe you don't want to, and that's okay. There is no right or wrong. Like I said, only you can define what your results are. But you want to go out there and be a multiple six-figure earner, you have to put in some hours. You know, right? You know, I had to go to making 280 grand first. You know, I made 280, and then you know, 300 and some. You know, right, and then 500, and then over years, I got to the $1 million mark. You know, right? And now I make well over $1 million in multiple of my businesses, right? But I grind my ass off. 13 years later, 12 and a half, 13 years later in my entrepreneurship career, I work as much, if not more, than any human being I've ever met on this planet. Right? I'll pull all-nighters. You know, I try not to for health reasons. I try to get my sleep on. But dude, I grind. Right? When people ask me how many hours do you work a week, I'm like, the easier question is for me to answer is how many don't I work. Right? You know, I'm very intentional. I spend time with my wife, spend time with my kids, make sure I focus on my health. Outside of that, dude, I work. I don't have any other hobbies. I don't care about any other hobbies. I don't care about any, like, but that's me, you know, right? And I just share that because if you do have the desire to go out there and become a millionaire, I can show you exactly how to do it. I've done it, right? But I also want to be realistic with the expectations it's going to take. So massive action equals massive results, 100%. Takes work. So then we got to identify how much work, how much action is required to hit your goal. So if you've not been tracking your numbers, and I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you've never tracked your numbers or you haven't done it consistently, so you won't know your numbers. And that's okay, right? Your past is your past, doesn't define you, but starting, once you get through this training, you're going to become a number tracking freak, right? The path is in the math. If you are not tracking your numbers, you are not committed to your business, period. You do not care about your success. You do not care about your business if you are not tracking your numbers. It takes 2 minutes a day to track your numbers, but it's the only way you can have true success in business. Then from there, though, like, what is the path to a deal? So now these numbers here are going to be numbers to just start with. Like, I don't want you to use these numbers for the rest of your career to plan off of. You can, and it's better than nothing for sure. Right? But these are the numbers to start planning with. And then you're going to see here in future sections, or actually in the next section, we're going to talk about tracking your numbers. Right? I'm going to show you how to download your trackers, how to start tracking your numbers. Then we will come up with and know your own true reality, right? Of what your efforts do. They might be better than this. They might be worse than this. It doesn't really matter if it's better or worse. We just need to know what they are. And we can always improve from there, right? But we need to know the path to a deal. If you want to go out there and close 50 deals, you need to know exactly what you need to be doing daily, weekly, monthly, yearly to make that a reality. Right? Otherwise, you're just freaking mentally masturbating about your goals, and you're not able to take the necessary action to go out there and truly make these into a reality. So we got to know the path to a deal. And the scary part about this industry is that 99.9% of real estate agents, broker owners, and even coaches and trainers out there have no idea of the path to a deal. You go sit across from, go interview 12 different brokers. Not say to go do it and waste your time doing it, but if you were to go sit across the table from 12 broker owners right here in the Valley and ask them, what's the exact amount of effort? What is my exact path to a deal? How many reach outs? How many conversations? How many leads do I need to generate? How many appointments set? What should my closing percentage be? Like, what does that take? It's like a deer in headlights. These people don't know these things. Right? So the path to a deal, this is what we're going to break down here. So we're talking 1,000 reach outs. So reach outs are classified, and you'll see here in the tracker. I mean, you can track other things as a reach out. However, this is what I recommend. This is what I personally have always tracked. This is what I still continue to track. So this is just my recommendation. I'll show you how you can kind of revamp it. And there's nothing wrong with tracking slightly different. You just got to be consistent with your tracking. But 1,000 reach outs, I count a reach out as a phone call or a personalized text message. I'm not counting emails. I'm not counting mass emails, drip text messages. That language may mean nothing to you yet, but it will as you advance in the training. So 1,000 reach outs equates to 80 lead conversations. So a reach out is me. Let's just say we're talking phone calls here. I'm picking up the phone to a lead that I've never done business with yet, and I'm just picking up the phone and dialing to try to get them on the phone to have a conversation about their real estate goals and needs and trying to set an appointment, right? So the reach out is just me reaching out. A lead conversation is the second they pick up the phone. Now, when they pick up the phone, it could be a wrong number. They could tell me to get bent, get lost, right? Whatever. I don't care. If they pick up the phone, that's classified as a conversation. That then equates to 5 appointments made. This is not conductions. This is 5 appointments made. You'll see the goals and the numbers that you should be hitting, which is a 76% or 75 or greater percent appointment set to conduction ratio, which I'll show you that later. But 5 appointments made equates to 1 closing. So 1,000 reach outs, 80 conversations, 5 appointments made, 1 closing. So don't stress about this yet. You're gonna, when I share these numbers, a lot of agents freak out because they're like, oh, dude, like maybe I want to close a deal a week, and I got to do 1,000 reach outs a week. How do I get 1,000 leads a month or 1,000 leads a week? No, dude, that's not. You're gonna be following up with each lead multiple times, right? Your average lead over the lifetime of that lead, you're gonna follow up with 30 times. Right? Before they close them. It's just how it goes. So it's not 1,000 leads, right? It takes far less leads than most real estate agents think, and far more frequency and follow-up than most agents think. Again, here in the training, I'm going to show you guys exactly what to say. If they don't answer phone, what voicemails to leave. There's no guesswork. All the roadmap is in here. You just got to follow this, right? But this is the path. Don't stress about this yet. But we got to know what your numbers are. So then, from there, we want to break down your personal numbers based on your closing goal. So let's just say, hey, I want to close 50 deals in the next 12 months. If I need to close 50 deals to hit my income goal, right? Maybe your average commission is 10 grand a month. Right? I know here in the Valley, that's not the average commission for the average agent, but I'm using this because I can't do math in my head. Right, so that'd be 500 grand a year, right? Obviously, at 10 closings a month, or $10,000 commission. So maybe a more realistic average commission, after splits and broker fees and all that, with 50 closings would it's like 5 grand, right? So this is the path to making 250 grand a year, which is big money. I got a lot of friends that are doctors and attorneys, and they're making 250 grand a year, and they work their friggin' asses off. Like, it takes a lot of work to make a couple hundred grand a year. So we're talking 50,000 yearly reach outs, 4,000 lead conversations, and then 250 appointments set on an annual basis, right? So that looks like a big pill to swallow. But then we divide it out and break this down, and you'll see when we break this down on a yearly basis to a monthly basis to a weekly basis then a daily basis, then it's not such a big deal. So then what is the number for you to hit your goals? Right? So put that number in here. Just put that in there. If you don't know, like if you're brand new and you're like, dude, Josh, I have no idea what the average commission is going to be, whatever, use $5,000, right? So whatever your annual income goal is for the year, divide that by $5,000, and that equates right here to, maybe that's 25 closings. I don't know. Put that number right here. So then from there, we're going to break down the math. Hey, how many appointments do you need to make that a reality? So you're going to take that number and you're going to make that times that by 5. So this is just going to tell you the math, right? So we're going to multiply this number by 5. Then right here, how many total lead conversations do you need to have? So we're going to take line number 1. So your appointment's set, and so line number 1 tells exactly what to do here. Multiply that by 16. That gives you this number here. Then you're going to take for your how many reach outs. This is your dials and your personalized text messages. How many reach outs? I'm going to take line number 2. I'm going to multiply that by 12.5. That's going to give me this number here. Then it's about divide and conquer, right? So then we're going to divide those. There's 52 weeks in a year. And we're going to divide this out. Now I get, maybe you're like, well, Josh, I'm taking a week off, so should I just put 51? No, do the math by 52, right? Because then you're going to see later as we go through your daily planner sections, right? We're paying attention to this every single day so we can readjust. So if I'm taking a day off or a week off or whatever that time, I'm able to adjust and make up for that time on a weekly and daily basis. So don't stress about that yet. For now, just divide these by 52. So we're going to take line number 1. Divide it by 52, put that line here. Your total phone conversations per week, so take this and put that bad boy right here, right? Then we got how many reach outs, divide that by 52, put that bad boy here. So this then shows you how many appointments made each week, how many phone call conversations, and how many weekly reach outs. Again, don't stress about, hey, how am I going to do this yet? We're just putting the plan in place. And throughout the rest of this training, I'm going to show you how to execute on this plan to make these become a reality. But we need to start with knowing your numbers and what that looks like. So we're just kind of reverse engineering this. Okay, so then here on the last part of this business plan. Now, if you are new, brand new in real estate, or you just maybe you're not new but you just are unaware of what to be doing, just leave this blank for now. Totally cool to leave this blank. This is only if you know this, right? Like if I'm a seasoned real estate agent and I know lead generation activities that are kicking ass for me that get results, if you know your activities, put them here, right? 2 offline, 2 online activities. That gives you a couple spaces for those, so put those there. If you don't know them, just leave it blank. Don't stress about it. Do you have a past client referral game plan that's been effective for you in the past? Put that here. Again, if you don't know it, or if it hasn't been effective, or if you've never done it, don't worry. I'm going to walk you through and show you these step by step, how to do these, what we recommend, what the team processes are. So don't stress about those. But if you know them, it gives you an area to put that. Here, what are the top things that you must improve on and or implement to make this a reality? Again, this is going to be only if you have experience and if you're seasoned, where hey, I've always struggled at tracking my numbers and my listing presentation. So those are 2 areas. I want to improve on all of it, but those are 2 areas that I feel if I really improved on those would have the biggest impact. Then I'm going to put those there. But again, if you don't know these yet, just leave this last page blank if you need to, right? I don't want you to stress about this yet because I'm going to walk you through all this step by step. Okay, so now this completes the last video here in section number 2. However, before you go to section number 3, either go into your REVISTO playbook or print this out, document right below, and complete this document before getting into section 3. And if you didn't complete any of the above training videos and documents, or if you half-assed it, get those complete. There's no sense. This is like building Legos. Right? When I'm building Legos, like think of this training is you get the Lego box, you dumped all the pieces that are scattered all over the table. That's when you log in this training when you're looking at this, right? When I'm building Legos, and I only know this because I'm building Legos with my kids, right? We pull out the instructions and the directions, and we start with step number 1. When step number 1's complete, I go to step number 2. And then I build out step number 2. Step number 2 complete, I go to step number 3, right? So it doesn't serve me. It doesn't do me any good to try to skip from section 1 to section 4. It's just gonna screw me up. That doesn't help me, right? And also, if I keep looking at the frickin' pile or I look at the design on the box, that's going to overwhelm me. That's going to stress me out and shut me down. That's the whole paralysis through analysis. If we just think of all the stuff as building Legos, I'm going to get section 1 done until section 1 is complete, executed, all the implementation steps and exercises we're going through are done. Then I'll enter section 2. Right? And once section 2 is fully complete and done, then I'll enter section 3 and so on. So make sure that this is dialed in and you are rolling. All right, you guys, get this complete, and then I will see you in the next section.